welcome to the next episode of the CAPB podcast. For this episode, I am delighted and honoured to have Liam Hall, formerly of the Royal Logistics Corps and the founder of Military Chef. Welcome, Liam.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me, gents. It's a bit weird to be doing on a Monday evening.
Mate, it is. Yes, good start to the week, mate. We like to get a pod in, record it. Nice start to the week. It is usually an arsehole time. But yeah, thanks for making the time, mate.
No, always. I followed you quite a while, so it's about time you got me on.
You're a busy man, mate. You're a busy man, and you have got a brilliant story, which we can't wait to get into. But before we start it all off, you served for 7 years in the Royal Logistics Corps. If that was a highlight reel, what does that look like, Liam?
You can say all the cool stories about being on tour, and I think actually, and with her not being here anymore, was actually cooking for the Queen. I think has got to be the top core memory, and then actually having my Obtelic 6 ERAT medal presented by her. So I was with the True Royal Welsh down in sunny Tidworth, and then we had the call that she's going to present Obtelic medals, and you will be able to cook for her. Because in fact, I was quite surprised that we would cook for her, because we had Charles come to camp, and he would never eat in the mess. He would always request Mr. Kipling cakes. So we would never have our food. We'd always have to bring in Mr. Kipling's cakes. Well, in fact, the Queen stayed in the officers' mess for dinner, which was, I think that's got to be a core memory for me and a highlight.
Fucking alley as fuck.
And do I use that? Fucking tour, I do, yeah. Yeah, so that's a nice touch.
What did you make? What did you make for her?
It's all the good old-fashioned, if you've ever been in the mess, it's all good old beef Wellington, isn't it? Yeah, that's what we always seem to do in a mess. Beef Wellington.
Strong, mate. That is a cool story, mate. And what pinnacle, what an opportunity for a chef, cooking like from everyone from like Toms and Fusiliers on the ranges and that, all the way up to Ops and the Queen.
Story of, in fact, although she's not with us anymore, and obviously their people talk to our people of what she can and she can't have, and we was always told, and this is a story from the mess manager at the time. So we were always told that you will present her with coffee at the end on a tray. She doesn't have any sugar, so you don't need to put any sugar on the tray. All you need to do is present a cup of coffee. So as mess manager, would have been staff sergeant at the time, presented the coffee to her, and then she asked, have you not got any sweeteners? Well, of course, obviously the world wanted to swallow up, because he was told, hang on a minute. And just as she literally went into a bag, taking her brolly out and getting the sweeteners out of a bag and putting her own sweeteners in the coffee. So what an absolute crazy story, and just shows the type of person she was, wasn't she? So,
mate, I love that, mate. That's class, mate. What an opportunity.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic.
So
go on.
Trying to segue from that, it's going to be quite. Well, it's not, but obviously you are or you were a military chef.
Yes.
So what is now your business? What is Military Chef? For the people that don't know what it is, what is it?
So what is Military Chef? So it's, I get the question every single day when people walk past my shop and go, what the hell is this? So we are not your typical cute, bougie. So at the moment we make chocolate. So when I came out of the military, I wanted to do my own business, but never had the cojones to actually do it. So I came into Civvy Street and had a great career as a civvy chef. Worked my way from the bottom again, as you do, all the way up to the top. And then, of course, COVID put a stop to, obviously, not just hospitality, but a lot of businesses. And let's be honest, I still had bills to pay. I still had children to feed. And I would go and deliver pizzas and everything else that I needed to do to put a meal on the table. But I always wanted to have my own business. And I thought, well, here's the time now. Let's see what we can do. And having a think around and having a bit of research of, I always was proud of my service. And looking back, I wanted it to be a part of some type of military. You know, you look at the brands that are out there. There are loads of coffee brands. There's great brands in terms of physique, clothing brands. Obviously, there's a fantastic brand that you're wearing there, Matt, Combat Fuel.
Shout out, Alex.
But there was no, yeah. I'm going to say, Alex, you better listen to that. I want free stuff for that. But there was no one actually doing kind of food. There are, don't get me wrong, there are companies out there that are ex-military and they are chefs, but no one's singing and dancing about who they are. And I thought, you know what? Let me do it. Let's just do military chef. I'm in the middle of COVID, so there's not a lot I can do. I want it to be a safe product that I can do from home. So I looked around. I thought, oh, chocolate. Okay, let's look at chocolate. No one's really branding it how I thought we would brand it. Military chef. Let's brand it almost as chocolate rations. So again, I did some research. No one else is doing that. Let's be honest. No one's going to be shouting about that they were the military chef, are they? You know, no one's saying that they've joined the Royal Logistics Corps and been a chef, are they? No one's doing that. So I thought, sorry, let's do it. Why chocolate? Everyone asks me, why are you doing chocolate? Because it's a safe product to make from home. I know I could grab as many customers as I can from home. I use social media as in the groups. I could go up to Scotland, I could go to Liverpool, I could go to Leeds, down into Cornwall, into all the groups and go, here's my business. I can send chocolate anywhere in the country without it being refrigerated or thinking about that. I could just put it in a box and send it up to Scotland. Why is the business not called chocolate then? Well, the reason, again, if I was building a business, I needed to build a business that was going to make an impact. So we start with chocolate, then we can move to other stuff. I'm sure we'll talk about it as we go into the business. So what is Military Chef? At the moment, we are a handmade chocolate business. We're not your typical cute, bougie chocolate shop. We are rough and ready, but we're good at what we do. We're good, solid products, which is veteran-owned and operated. And that's pretty much what it is. You know, we're a good confectionery, handmade chocolate business.
I think it's class, mate, and I think the story's class. The pivot to using your culinary skills to make chocolate from your house, and then posting it and working from the kitchen table's one thing, but you've got a shop, mate. So you online, and then you've got an actual place, mate, where people come.
So we've got someone sat here now, mate, actually in the middle of the shop, and do you know what? I started from home. I literally just put a few items up on Facebook as you do, and we started giving a bit of traction, and then it got a bit too much. And I don't know about you guys, I can't work from home. I find it really hard. As a chef, I was always used to going out of the house and working and never being in the house. So I found it really hard actually waking up and then working at home.
Yeah.
It's just not me. I can't do it because I'll end up watching something on the TV and then putting a brew. Lorraine Kelly's on the TV and that's nothing else is happening. So then I moved to almost like, I don't know if you guys have it. We have like little indoor markets.
Yeah.
Almost like an in-shops back in the day. So I moved to one of them and just used it as what we call dark kitchens. So you'd make the product. I just use it as a kitchen, fully set up kitchen. And then I would go and do like markets. I'd promote ourselves online. Again, like I said, I'd just go up to any group in the UK. I would go onto Facebook and go, this is if they're going to kick me out the group, they're going to kick me out the group. However, if I can get a promotion in there, I'll get a promotion. I'll go down to Cornwall and try it down there. And then I would go anywhere where they would let me to go in terms of markets, artisan market shows, set up. Some days I wouldn't even sell one bar chocolate. And it was just like, but then I kept going. And we was in this, in shops for about a year, 2 years. And then where we are in Sutton Coldfield, the owners of the Grace Church, which is the shopping centre that we're in, came to us and said, would you like to open a chocolate shop up on the town centre? And it was a tough one because it was like I've lost my career to Crohn's disease, and we'll talk about that. In the army, I've lost my my job again to COVID. I built the business. We're still micro business, but do I really want to destroy it by then opening up on the high street? The big boys are not surviving on the high street. What chances have I got of a small little business, which were a bit weird? We're not your typical chocolate shop. What chance have I got? And I turned them down, and for 6 months they kept saying, no, 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 come up. And bearing in mind, our shop now, we're massive. We've got 3 floors. We've got top floor, middle floor, bottom floor. So you can imagine it's quite expensive to rent. And eventually we came up with a deal, and I have to say my landlords are fantastic. They really looked after us in getting us in here, supporting us. And we've been in the shop now for a year and a half. So within the shop, we couldn't just be, sorry guys, if I'm just waffling and you can't get any questions in, but
Mate, it's perfect.
As a shop, we make the chocolate in front of you. So the top of our shop, we're very lucky. We've got windows all around the shop. So where you are now, there's windows completely everyone around the shop. If anyone's walking around Sutton Carfield now, they're looking at me waffling into a computer. At the top of our shop, you can watch us make the chocolate. So we're fully, everyone can see anything. So we've got nothing to hide, and we have staff working in there. And then further down the shop, you can then sit and enjoy a coffee, hot chocolate. And then the back of me here is where you can enjoy all our products that we make within our range. Then upstairs, where we do workshops as well, so you can come and make chocolates. We do kids' parties. And it's because what I had to think about was, everyone is not going to eat chocolate every day. So I had to think of a different way to bring people in and be more of an experience. So then people could enjoy the brand with us. So when you come to a workshop, you get to learn about my story. You get to learn about chocolate. And it's about being experienced people and understanding the brand. So most people coming in, they'll realise we're not a cute chocolate shop, but then they'll realise we are an actual brand.
You're quite humble with this, right? And you'll keep playing down we're not a little sweet boutique shop, mate. But what you've done, right? You've gone from essentially making chocolate buttons in your kitchen table to having a full-on business with so many different pivots, kids' parties, having a cafe there, having that transparency. That's like Michelin star restaurant stuff where they show you how we cook the food versus we'll cook it in the back kitchen and you'll eat what we give you. That level of transparency, mate, for people to see that is brilliant. And then to pivot again to say, hey, let's do workshops. Let's show people that they can make their own chocolate. Honestly, Liam, it is a fascinating story, mate. It is an absolutely fascinating story to go from just selling a product, riding a wave, to going, no, we need a sustainable business. What does that look like? Here's a question for you. When did you realize, because obviously it started, I guess, as a side hustle during COVID.
Yeah, 100%.
When did you think this, I'm going all in. I'm going all in and Military Chef's going to pay my mortgage versus I'm going to wait till COVID passes and get a job as a chef?
Yeah. Do you know what? Because a lot of people kept saying to me and kept sending me jobs. Oh, there's a job, there's a chef job here. Do you want to go for that? And I'm like, do I need to go for it? And in fact, I applied to the fire service. I thought I'll apply to the fire service because, again, it's something that I will be able to do, although having Crohn's, they still allow it in. At what stage did I do it? I think it's because when we started talking to the museums. So when we started getting the National Army Museum, the Guards Museum, and I thought, hang on a minute, this could actually potentially work. Suddenly it's crazy that we're now producing chocolate for essentially our museum, the National Army Museum. And I thought, that's actually crazy that we're doing that.
Before you go any further, how did that come about? How do you go from selling in a little shop to the National Army Museum saying, we'd like you to provide some stock?
They actually came to us.
Love it.
We had a buyer that they were working with. And before that, don't get me wrong, I was trying to get into places, but I never went for the big boys. I was going to the little garden centres and stuff like that. And then out of the blue, they approached me and said, "Oh, we like what you do. Is there anything you can do on ours?" So now we provide them with their own buttons that have got their own soldiers. Where are we? So we're in the Army Museum, we're in the Tank Museum, the Army Flying Museum. Where else are we? I don't want to miss in on that because I know they'll all be listening. The National Memorial Arboretum have supported me from day one. In fact, the National Arboretum, because it's so close to us, one of my first markets was Armed Forces Weekend at the Arboretum. So they're a great one. We do quite a few different places.
The Arboretum's pretty special. It's pretty special for us,
Very
Paul
special.
and I. Not just for, obviously we've got the Iraq and Afghan war there, the memorials that are there in the various core gardens. But our granddad, he died before we were born, actually. He died while serving on an exercise in Germany. And so he's on the main Arboretum, his name. You know what I mean? He's on the main Arboretum. So every time we go there, we go there probably a couple of times a year for different things. Paul was there recently with the Afghan veteran community. We'll go and
they recently had that, seen that.
Yeah, we'll just go and just little tip the hat to Granite. I want to say we never met him. He died before both of us were born. So it's mad that we then joined the military, but it's nice that he's on the Arboretum and he's got that place. So it's pretty cool. So it's an amazing place.
So do you stick a chocolate?
I don't eat it. I really shouldn't say this, but I don't eat it. It's probably a good thing, to be fair. And I mean, it might not look like I don't eat it, but I'd rather have a sausage roll if I'm honest. Take that as you will. I'm not a sweet. I'm not a sweet person, which is probably a thing. But going back to you, Matt, again, it's like I still don't think that I'm as big as I am. I don't, and it's probably I don't know whether it's what we're built into. I don't reflect enough to go. To be fair, you've done quite a good job, Liam. We're coming up to 5 years next year in Feb, and you've done all right, mate. But it scares me, and that's going back to, well, look what happened with your Crohn's. Look at what happened to COVID. It's always in the back of my head of how long is this going to go for?
Tell us about Crohn's, mate. How did that happen? Because you obviously didn't leave the military through choice.
No, so I got medical discharged for Crohn's disease, and in fact, it happened when I on tour. So I came back from Iraq, and the symptoms, without being too gross, I lost a lot of weight, kept going to the toilet, very sick, and the doctors looked at me and again just passed it on as they would normally do, and then I went on exercise. And again, I just came really, really ill, losing weight. And I'm very lucky. Like I say, I always class myself as quite lucky, although I have Crohn's disease. And Crohn's disease is an inflammatory bowel disease, which obviously can affect, not obviously, but people don't know, can affect from literally your mouth to your tail end. And I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease very, very quickly. And I think it is because I was in the army that I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease very quickly. I lived with it within the army for about two years, and it shouldn't affect your promotion because you're P7. But we all know it does affect your promotion because you're not going out on tours. And the amount of times I tried to go out on tours, but the medical officers like, no, we can't get you out on tours because unfortunately with Crohn's disease, you can be fine one day. I could wake up tomorrow and it's affecting me. So Crohn's disease, I always say, almost like tonsillitis. You get tonsillitis and it inflames your tonsils. It's pretty much like that, but it does your bowels, so your intestines. It's almost, that's my way of giving it to the layman's terms. So they wouldn't let me go on tours. And then after about 2 years of living with it, my medical officer said, would you like me to try and get you medically discharged? At the time, my son was being born. And it's like they're coming in. So then I was medically discharged from the army for Crohn's disease. I was a part of a regiment. And of course, because you're always attached, are you always looked after? Probably not. Luckily, the family officer at the time noticed, and they did look after me, to be fair. And then I came out of the military, so yeah, I've still got Crohn's disease. It's affected me quite. It's almost tried to kill me a couple of times, but I'm still here. I don't let it affect me. I run a business, and just like everyone else, you crack on, don't you?
Do you know when you're getting? Again, my knowledge of Crohn's disease is next to zero. But like, do you have like? Can you wake up in the morning and think today's going to be a bad day, or is it not like that? Is it like? Can it just come on at waves, or?
I'm really lucky. It used to be the case. I'm on very good treatment at the moment. I have injections, so where the hell's all the wood? Within 5 years, I had the business. So they say it's brought on a lot by stress. Some people, it can be on what you eat. I've not had a moment in the last 5 years. Considering I'm running a business, I don't know how I haven't come down with anything, and the stress that it puts me under. So yeah, sometimes you can wake up, or if you know it's coming, like you get pains every day, but it's something that you live with.
Yeah.
And everyone's a bit slightly different. I've had a perforated bowel. I've had to live with a stoma for 2 years. I've had that reversed. I no longer have a large bowel. But it's a case of you kind of get to know your body and what's going to happen, and fatigue and everything else like that kicks in.
Liam, your story, mate, is so inspirational. I'm not even joking, mate. We've already been speaking for half an hour. We've followed you for a while, as I say, and it's great that you're on the podcast. But it's like you've got this incredible business, but it's against all adversity, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's against all adversity, and you've kept growing that business to what it is now, where you're a wholesaler. You sell online. You've got a shop. You've got all these different strings to the business, all, as I say, under the pressure of and the diagnosis of Crohn's. It's incredible, mate.
But we have to, though, don't we? It's like it's easy to sit at home and say you can win and do that, but you
built different, mate. Fucking built different.
Absolutely, 100% built differently. And you just have to carry on. I could quite easily have just sat at home and scratched my balls and claim whatever I need to claim, but
yeah,
I get you, mate. I get you. So your business is obviously thriving, whether you humbly you humbly admit this or not, right?
If the taxman's watching, it's not. It's absolutely on its arse.
I'm on my arse.
On its arse, right?
Absolutely on its arse.
If you were to take a step back, and if someone wanted to ask you, like, what's over the last sort of 5 years or so, the inception of the idea, the business, the starting from A and where you are now, what are the lessons you've learned, and like if you could give a little bit of one nugget of advice for that individual that wanted to start something like this, what would those two things be?
Do you know, and it's one thing that I need to listen to myself, and it's actually let people help. Very much, and I still find it hard to let go now, is people do want to help. You can't do everything yourself. And I still struggle with it myself. And I still probably won't listen to myself, and we'll still be having this conversation maybe in a year's time. So the one bit of advice is let people in and let people help. I think that's the biggest thing. But then also, you've got to give it a go. It hasn't always got to be shiny. The product hasn't always got to be shiny. And that's, I think, we watch people on Instagram and we watch other businesses and we think, shit, oh, look how amazing they do. But they've come a long way. Start from the beginning and just get out there. Stop trying to make it all shiny first of all. Just get it out there. and as a business owner, start selling.
Mate,
You
I
got
love
to
it,
make
mate.
money, and I always remember someone saying to me, the key to a business is making money, and it's okay trying to shine everything and get everything perfect, but that's not making you money. Get out there and make the money, and then it will soon start coming. So I've always tried to get better. So when you look at my first product to where we are now, it's amazing, like how far we've come. But people will still buy my product when it looked like Johnny Age 5 had packaged it, or to where we are now, where we had a company that did all our new logo. You look at my logo. My logo was a fiver off a £5 off Fiverr from wherever, so whoever was building it on a laptop. But that's all the money I had at the time.
Yeah.
I built the business with £50 in my pocket because that's all I had. So me getting a £5 logo of a chef in combats, but it lasted for a year and a half, and it worked because I was like, you know what?
10%. So 10% of your input to your business when you first started was of a logo.
Yeah. So
That's mad.
I built my own. I have no idea how to build websites, but we all know how good YouTube is. YouTube is. I built my website through YouTube. So that's, and then it was just ingredients. So the main thing was I had to have a logo because people want to see your logo. You've got to have a website because people want to see a website. And then ingredients. I remember buying my first lot of ingredients and then turning that into a little bit and then turning that into a little bit.
What was the first thing you made? You say about your first product. What was it?
We actually made chocolate eggs. So we haven't done them. We didn't do them last year, but every year we bring them. We tend to bring them back. So they're little cheesecake eggs. They're like little cream eggs. We fill them with cheesecake and different fillings. So we did 5 different fillings of cheesecakes. That was our very first product. And then our second one was the honeycomb. And then ever since, the honeycomb's been our biggest.
I seen one today, mate. Mince pie and chocolate.
Yeah, mince pie and chocolate.
I'm not sure.
What?
What's
Mince pie and chocolate. Yeah.
What do you
But then people say that about our cheese and onion, salt and vinegar, and ready salted crisp bars.
Seriously, mate, you've lost me now, mate.
Sorry, what?
Cheese and onion and chocolate.
So cheese and onion.
I'm going to cancel the episode of the podcast. Sorry we've faked you into all this. This man just said he puts chocolate with cheese and onion crisps. Apologize for all listeners.
Well, you got to remember though, when you go out for I don't know, you're Welsh, aren't you? Go for a posh meal. You at the end you have your chocolate, and then you have your cheese board.
True, mate.
Cheese goes well with chocolate, really well. Maybe not the onion, but
mate, I tell you what I do like. I tell you what I do like about what you do, right? Is I've ordered a few times from you, and the Bakewell tart chocolate.
Yes,
mate.
So a thin layer of pastry, jam, sponge, and then we coat it in a nice glossy white chocolate.
Mate, this is something else, mate. It's something else. But
you know what,
just go on.
I can't stand it. I can't stand almonds.
This is what
I'm not selling it here, but I can't stand it.
Mate, I'll tell you something. It's super sweet. But what I love is, as well, is your branding. Because like you've said, and this is what one of the things that really drives me with the podcast. Now, we started the podcast last year, and we know nothing about podcasts. We know nothing about better known brands, mate. And we've built this community around us of these better known brands. We've all got different stories, from brigadier generals in the Royal Marines making their own whiskey, mate, to, as I say, we've got clothing ranges, contact coffee, mate. We've got people, everything you can think of. A lady in the RAF who makes handbags out of uniform, right?
Yeah.
And then, but they've all got a similar story where they've just gone, I'm just going to go for it. But yours is special, mate. You had 50 quid. You had 50 quid. You bought the ingredients and did it in your house to where you are now. Mate, that is genuinely totally inspiring. And having that constant improvement. Your stuff, when it gets delivered, is immaculately packaged. Okay, it's like it's been done in a big factory, mate. It's like it's so slick. It looks amazing. It comes, even the hot chocolate and stuff. Everything comes like on point. And going from kitchen table to that in 5 years, and like I said, having all the pivots you've got within your business, Liam, mate, that is immense, mate. Like seriously,
it's a
seriously
bit of luck.
immense.
Liam,
and a bit of luck, mate. Yeah.
is everything done on site?
Everything's done on site, so you can watch us do everything. Yeah. There's certain things we do in the shop now, like we've just added cannolis and stuff like that. We don't make that. We're always honest. If something we don't make it. But everything that you'll see behind me and everything else, we stock of a veteran-owned business as well. That's Soldiering on Coffee, great gentleman. And everyone does our all our gear, veteran-owned business as well. We send it out to them as well. So the idea eventually, we never want to be a massive. Well, we'd love to be a massive chocolate company, of course we would. But I don't want a factory. I don't want the big robots doing everything what we do. What I'd rather have is 10 other veterans that can't get a job for whatever reason, whether they've been injured or something, packaging chocolate buttons or labeling or dipping chocolate. And the reason I do that is because I have to shout out to the Poppy Factory. So when I came out of the military, I got put onto an internship called Skill Force. And what Skill Force is, they go into school. It used to be a charity. They go into schools and they look after the hardest to reach children, ones that need that little bit extra. Probably kids like me when I was at school, that are just not academic and they just need something else. So we used to go into the schools and teach them Duke of Edinburgh awards, life skills, stuff like that. We were just instructors. We weren't teachers. And I got put onto that internship. And what the internship was, we worked with the charity, and it was people that were injured or were being medically discharged from the army. The Poppy Factory paid for my first year to be employed by the charity. And that's what they do. I don't know, I'm sure they still do it. And and just like the Poppy Factory, as they do with the poppies, I would rather employ veterans that need a bit of a job than having the big factory workers. That's what we want to build eventually.
It's honestly, mate, it's incredible. And it's another thing. It's amazing how many veteran-owned businesses want to support veteran-owned businesses and want to support military charities. It's like, it's almost like it's wired in. There's people like, we've had Combat Clipper Co on he supports combat stress. He's not had to use that charity, but he's a successful business. He's not a veteran, actually. He's still serving Teague. But he's like, no, I want to give X amount to that charity every year. And there's so many of them that does it. Like Alex at Combat Fuel gives to Reorg. And there's all these... It's like it's a crazy, like almost like a moral obligation where veterans just look out for each other. And recently, 100%. just on Remembrance Weekend, Paul and I we marched at the Cenotaph, and we marched with the Afghan veteran community, and it was an incredible experience, like real, like proper incredible experience. But it was just this huge amount of veterans. It doesn't matter whether you're a veteran of Falklands, veteran of, do you know what I mean, like the Balkans, veteran of Ireland or Iraq or Afghanistan or whatever. Everyone just chatting, mate, and everyone just networking, and everyone just, do you know what I mean, having those conversations. You never know where they lead.
One of my best friends now is an 86-year-old veteran. He was an ex-Red Cap. He comes in my shop twice a week. We sit down, and there's that gap of age, but we'll sit there and we'll talk for hours. And we've, and people say, how can you talk for hours with someone you just don't know? Like, it feels like we do know. And what we get a lot, and because we're in Sutton Coldfield, there is a lot of military in Sutton Coldfield, because we used to have St George's Barracks, I think it is, which used to be Selection, I believe, back in the war times. I think like Billy and all them used to do they did their selection here. But then we've got Litchfield that's just down the road, which is the medics.
I went through Litchfield, mate. I went through Litchfield. I went through Litchfield phase 1. And then
I did my selection at Litchfield.
Yeah, so I did
I did
selection
my
at
selection
Lichfield,
at Lichfield. Yeah.
then phase 1 at Lichfield, and then I went back there. I went through the ranks and commissioned, and I went back there as an SO3. So when the whole medics moved into DMS Whittington, I worked there as Surgeon Generals, and that was pretty mad. Thinking I was 16-year-old doing a PFA, BFA around the 2 laps of the 2 loops of camp, and now I'm working here as a officer. It's a bit mad.
Yeah, I always find it crazy when I'm driving into Lichfield and I drive past the train station. You think, I got dropped off there, waiting for the White Angels, and you think, that's weird.
Yeah.
So we have got a big community around here. So whether people are paras or Marines or whatever, they'll pop their head in, we'll have the banter, they'll call me a slop jockey. I've never passed the course, although I did train as a chef. I did train as a chef before I joined the army, so I did pass the course because I was a civvy chef first. And I got a gold hello into the army for being a chef. But we have the banter, whether it's the Navy, it's absolutely brilliant. And look, we've got Standing with the Giants. We've got one of their, I don't know if you can see it there. We've got one of their guys in the shop as well. Standing with the Giants, charity. So yeah, it's some people just come in because we're a veteran as well, which is really, really like heartwarming.
So what's next? What's next for Military Chef?
What's next? It's a big, big question. It's a question. Can I answer? I don't know. We will still keep growing. And like I said to you, we don't. I haven't built the business just to be a chocolate business. The idea is chocolate by Military Chef. So if you look outside our shop, it says chocolate. I never just put Military Chef in there because one, people will never understand what the hell the shop is. So we're called Chocolate by Military Chef. But it doesn't stop us from doing maybe a bakery by Military Chef, street food by Military Chef, our own something cows by Military Chef. So that was the reason I called it Military Chef and not just chocolate by. It's to build a brand of everything, really. So,
which is what a chef does, right? Can cook everything from,
depends who you ask on that one. Yeah.
Can
you imagine a setup on in a festival, literally selling range stew, and as much as everyone whinges about it, you would all have a slice. You'd all go for it again with a bit of stale bread. Absolute winner.
And a cup of coffee.
Exactly.
They haven't cleaned the urns out.
Some of them have a magic container.
Absolutely. So
mate, you put that picture, Liam. I've got to say this, mate. You put the picture on your social media with the Norwegian container, mate. And I swear, I said to my mate, I said, I can smell that picture.
You can, mate.
He was like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm telling you, I can literally smell that photo.
And I could actually tell you what goes into them, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what goes into it.
Liam, I've got a question for you, mate. Have you got like a mentor business-wise? Or are you literally just improving and learning?
Absolutely winging it day by day. And that's me being 100% honest with you. I have no business experience. And don't get me wrong, I've tried businesses in the past, little businesses, and they've always been side hustles, and they've failed, completely failed. I think it's now because I've put 100% into it. And everyone keeps saying to me, oh, I want to start a business. I said, you will never really grow it until you're 100% in it. And I have no business mentor, and I keep thinking to myself, I'm probably better off getting one at some point, because I don't want to lie to you, I'm winging it. And it's just...
But quite successfully, mate. I'm not going to lie.
Pretty winging it well.
So, yeah, I don't have any mentor. It's just whatever's in here that's talking to me.
Well, it's working, mate. It is absolutely working. And honestly, I can see it continuing to grow, and I can see a lot of collaborations. The more I think about it, like proper collaborations with some of the other military brands out there, and that networking and support things. Because there's a lot more. Some of the veteran brands, with a lot of them which I've had on the podcast, have done like little events, and they've all gone to support each other. Like Gibraltar Trading Company is about to do another little event this weekend, and it's like he's not far from you actually, in the Midlands. PJ, and he's opening a new unit, inviting loads of veteran-owned brands there, mate. Do you know what I mean? And it's these little things where when people don't know about each other, and when they know about each other, they back each other.
I'm guilty. I haven't networked as much as I'd like to. And again, I think it's when you ask me what should I be doing, is actually letting people in and talking to me. LinkedIn, I'm not as big as I should be on there, but then I suppose you got to think at the moment I'm trying to do that, 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 and I'm too probably in the business instead of on top of the business. And that's what I need to do and start linking with a lot more veteran-owned businesses.
Mate, well, you have come to the right place, mate, because you know, you thought you're doing well so far, mate. You've just been on the CAPB podcast, mate. So we're gonna go for the fucking stars, mate. Mate, like, this must be your busiest time of year as well, right?
This is why I'm still at work. I'm still at work.
Yeah, I'm about to say, like, I bet Christmas goes crazy for you.
Crazy. So in fact, the busiest time for us is Easter, as you can imagine. Summer's busy because we actually go out and do events. So again, I had to think of something to do during the summer, because of course chocolate melts in the summer. Not everyone likes to eat chocolate in the summer. So what do you do to try and still feed the business? So that's when we go out and do events and do chocolate and strawberries. We do all the brownies and that. So again, I had to think about making sure that we're still earning money in the summer, because although I'm paying for my bills, what I have to always remember, and I always think in the back of my head, all my staff, I'm paying for my staff bills now. So I'm paying for their mortgage. So I had to think of something else to do in the summer. So we have a busy summer. And then November, with our poppies, chocolate buttons, we've been absolutely crazy this year with our poppy buttons. And of course, people forget we actually hand pipe them. So when someone orders with us, we hand make everything. We haven't got any machines. Everything is handmade by us. So it takes us a little bit longer. And then we get big corporate orders, like we've just done one with Little Troopers, which are a fantastic charity. Again, another military charity that look after all our children of service personnel. So they had a big order of chocolate buttons off us. And then we're going to Christmas now, this is the time now we need to make money so we survive January, February, March, when we're really quiet.
Honestly, Liam.
At work now.
Yeah, no, mate, I get you, mate. Honestly, Liam, it's been incredible. I can't believe how quick it's gone. Like this conversation, you've got so much to offer, mate, and so much knowledge that people could learn from you, and that drive to succeed, and that drive to realize that I can't just stick to this. I've got to pivot. I've got to pivot. You know, is fascinating, mate. And honestly, what you're doing with Military Chef is nothing short of inspiring, mate. And we can't wait to share the story.
No, I appreciate it, and hopefully I haven't waffled a bit too much.
You've not waffled at all, mate. You've made beef Wellington for the Queen. You can say what you want.
I do get excited when I talk about it. I do get a bit excited when I talk about it.
Good.
And that's only because I want to share it. It's all about, again, it's about education, isn't it? If I can inspire one person to do something, especially as a veteran as well, I don't care what anyone says, we are built differently. 100%. And there are some great veteran-owned businesses out there.
Liam, mate, it has been an honour and a pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, I appreciate it.
As I say, I can't wait to see what happens next for Military Chef.
Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Take care, mate.
Peace out.